Hi and welcome to episode 4, where we said we were going to talk more about Juno and Jeff. So, start with Juno. We got Juno, was it 4 years ago? We tried to work this out the other day.
3.5 years ago. She was 5 months when we got her.
So 3 Christmases ago. So just before Christmas, wasn't it?
It was 2 days before Christmas.
Yeah. Why did you look confused then?
Because I don't think it was 3 Christmases. Yeah, it was 3 Christmases ago.
This would be the 4th Christmas. Anyway, so we rescued her from the RSPCA in Staffordshire. So it's quite apt.
Because she's a Staffy from Staffordshire.
Yeah, so that works out quite well. We don't know much about her background. The RSPCA don't tend to say too much about the dog's background, do they?
I think it's so you don't obviously treat the dog any differently. I think they tell you a little bit about their past, but not really very much. So obviously,
yeah, so it doesn't bias you, does it?
No.
Or worry about the dog or its behaviours. And she had. You say the name of the mange she had.
She had Demodetic mange when she first went in there. Her and all her brothers and sisters had it.
Yeah, I can never say
Demodetic.
Demodetic, is it?
So she got it quite badly, and they were reluctant to give her to us because her skin was so bad, and she had to be on. She was on penicillin for quite a long time, and we finally convinced them rather to give her to us just before Christmas. But we had to sign a piece of paper saying if her mange came back, that we took her back to Staffordshire rather than taking her to the vets, because it would have cost us a lot of money. So they didn't want, which is nice in a way. Obviously the RSPCA didn't want that to be a cost over our heads. So
a mange obviously means that they've got this, is it a mite under their skin? And it basically makes their fur fall out. So she had just bald patches all over her, mostly over her face, on her underbelly.
And she had quite a lot on her back.
She had really bad scabs on her back. We've got pictures of that. And she was the cutest little thing, 5 months old, and she was just really.
Is it mites? Yeah, it's mites, isn't it?
I think it is. Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah, she was the cutest thing, and all she wanted to do was just cuddle, like curl up and cuddle. I think she was quite scared, and she's always been quite a scared dog ever since, really. So she was definitely ours from the beginning, and she was actually called Tinker, wasn't she?
Yeah, which is terrible.
Yeah, so I think this is funny, but you might not think it's funny. So the second time we went up to visit her, because obviously she had to stay, get spayed, and also she was on antibiotics for the mange, so we couldn't take her away. We had to wait a few months, so we went and visited her a second time.
Yes.
And we decided to change her name. We didn't like Tinker at all, and I went up to the RSPCA woman and said, "Do you mind if we want to change her name?" And she said, "What do you want to change it to?" Juno, right? As in, do you know? But all I heard was, "What do you want to change it to? Juno?" And I was like, how did you know that? And Helen was like, no, do you know? But yeah, she was a tiny, precious little thing. And she still is, isn't she?
Yeah, she is. She's a sensitive little soul.
Yeah, she is. So we managed to get the all clear to take her home just before Christmas in 2015, which we were really chuffed about. She still had mange, and we still had to give her a course of antibiotics. But one of the really good things was, before we took her home, a volunteer from the RSPCA came round to visit us in our home. And we didn't realise that this was kind of part of the process, but apparently it's quite a common thing now, where they basically he checked us to see if we were, because basically you're adopting a sentient being, so it makes sense, but we thought it was really good. So he had it was basically an interview with us to see what we were like as people and what hours we worked and whether we realised how much she needed to be walked, and he had a look around the house, and
they told me you kind of vetted us in the house.
Yeah, vetted us, and that's a good way of saying it. Yeah, which we thought was amazing.
Yeah.
That's actually part of the process. So yeah, 2015, we had our home, and we tried not to humanise her, but it can be really hard sometimes. So I think the first Christmas we dressed her up, didn't we?
She's got a jumper.
She had a
I'm
Christmas
sure we
jumper.
can put a picture on here. She does look very cute. She has got a Christmas jumper, but she didn't have much fur, so she needed a jumper.
Yeah, we made
So
that
that's
excuse.
that's the excuse that there is behind that one. She needed the jumper because she was a bit cold.
Yeah, and the only other thing that still hangs around is that she licks herself. So she'll lick her paws or she'll lick her side, and we don't know whether that's an anxious thing. Actually, there's one more thing.
Yes.
Yeah, it's one quite major thing.
Major thing.
So she licks herself so she can soak her side, and we don't know whether that's an anxious thing, because it tends to be, but not always, but it tends to be when we're out and we've come back.
Especially the side licking. The feet licking, I think, that's just maybe because she might have an irritant, but the side licking, like her literally soaking her side, tends to be when we're not here.
Yeah.
Or when everybody's not in the house. So I think it's a separation anxiety. Maybe.
Yeah, and the other thing is walking.
Yeah. So she doesn't like to walk on the road at all. We can't really tell what it is. We did have a behaviourist come in, and they did say they would just use food as the instinct to help her, and she's not food driven at all. She gets really scared.
No, I mean, we have been persistent at trying to walk her on the road, because it would make our lives a lot easier, wouldn't it? You know, if we're kind of busy and we just think, okay, right, she's got to go out, and we just take her around the block real quick before a big walk later on, for example. We have to now get her in the car, drive to the park, etc. So we have tried. As I say, like, as Helen said, you know, we did get a behaviourist in, and the behaviourist is just like, okay, just give her treats, like really smelly, like liver treats and things like that, which will, you know, which will encourage her down the road. But she just doesn't even pay any attention to any treats. She'll crouch down, shiver, and just claw onto the ground, won't she? So unless we actually pulled her along the road, nothing would happen. So there's a bit of a catch-22 now, where perhaps we've now taught her that if she does that, if she freaks out on the road when we're trying to walk her around the block or something, if she freaks out, then what we end up doing is putting her in the back of the car and taking her to the park. So there might be a little bit of unwitting reinforcement of that negative behaviour on our part, but we just haven't got time to keep trying to change it. And she's got to the stage now. And you know what? Taking her to the park is no.
And it's not detrimental to her health. She's a happy dog, so you know, as long as she's happy, we're happy, basically.
Yeah, and she's happy.
Forgive me for being exactly who I am. Forgive me for crossing paths once again. Isn't it funny that life dictates who I am? Forgive me for treating you exactly who you are. It's my fault, I've taken this much too far. Isn't it funny that life dictates who we are? We share hopefulness in the beginning of life. We share hopefulness in the beginning of life. heart, you never gave it a chance. And clear your mind, you never shared a glance. Isn't it funny that life is who I am? And open your soul and you'll be patient free. So we relax in harmony, forever is where we'll be. A strong will is needed to survive. And you'll die, bed me, listen no one songs, and it's free. And you'll die, bed me, listen no one's arms, and it's free. And you'll die, bed me, listen no one's arms, and it's free.
We understand that not everyone is in a position where they can adopt, and there are certain caveats where maybe you have to buy from a breeder. But yeah, please have a look at adoption before going to a default and looking at a breeder. Yeah, there's some beautiful dogs out there that need rescuing in a loving home.
Definitely.
And they kind of know that they've been adopted as well. I mean, I've heard it said before we got Juno, but it really does seem when you talk to owners of dogs who have adopted, they all say the same thing. They all say, yeah, it's almost like they know. They're so grateful. They want to just please you, and they don't want to upset you. So, yeah, you get a lot back from it as well.
Yeah.
Mm. So, should we show them around Jeff now? It's only fair. We've talked about Juno, so let's have a look around Jeff.
Cool. Here we go.
My name is Jeff.
So this is Jeff, the Toyota Hiace, touring Hiace. It's a Japanese import. So the guys we got it from import the cars from Japan and convert them into campers. They started doing that a little while back and they realised it was so popular. And it's really good because they do it all in-house, so they keep the cost down. And apparently in Japan they don't drive their cars much because the public transport's so cheap. So this one here, although it's a 1998 model, it's only done 16,000 miles. So yeah, really, really low mileage. So we're well chuffed with it. And it runs really lovely. So yeah, definitely buy one of these. As you can see, we're on a slight gradient, and that just helps level out the van. In fact, even though it's just a slight gradient, we probably need a larger one because it's still not quite flat, even though it's on the highest bit. Yeah, so definitely get one of those. So you've got the pop top. We're finding, obviously, when we're packing up, we're pushing one of us is outside pushing everything in to make sure it doesn't catch, but we're finding that this bit here, this mechanism here, is just catching on the fabric just slightly and it's pinching it when it's down. So we put a bit of gaffer tape there just to give it that extra bit of protection. So hopefully that will help protect that. Back here, so you've got the electric hookup, which is down here, going straight to the mains, which runs the leisure battery, and the leisure battery also gets charged whilst the engine's running. So you can still have the fridge on even though you're not connected to a mains. We've been told that the leisure battery will run the fridge for what, 2 days or so, was it?
Yeah, I think it's 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that.
Yeah, 2 days, I think. So here's the back of the van. So you've got.
That was originally just.
It was just this, wasn't it?
Just
this was
that.
fixed,
So
yeah.
yeah.
So so you can access it that way, but we asked for it to be modified slightly so that actually this whole thing is stuck by Velcro and can come away. So you've got storage under there. It fits 3 of these 22-litre containers quite nicely, so 3 along there, which is really handy. Here's the gas bottle. We've had real trouble trying to get a gas bottle that fits, even in camping and caravan shops, all those kind of things. We had real trouble trying to find some, didn't we?
Yeah.
But we did manage to find this one. We did find one that was at a petrol station, because most petrol garages sell gas bottles, but it was something like 30 quid for the actual gas bottle, and then they wanted £40 deposit, so that you had to bring the gas bottle back to that place. So basically they just kept 40 quid, and you've got to keep going back to that place to get a new bottle every time you want to refill. And I mean, that gas bottle should last us quite a while, so yeah, we weren't keen on that. So we spent half a day, didn't we, driving around trying to find the right size gas bottle. And then we got on site, and I'd already bought this regulator, but this gas bottle didn't have the connector at the top. So the first night we got here, after a 4-day weekend away at a festival, lack of sleep, absolutely shattered.
Just wanted to make a cup of tea in the morning.
Just wanted to make a cup of tea and a coffee in the morning. We couldn't even do that, so we couldn't have breakfast, so we had to get up, unrig everything, which is not too much of a hassle, but when you're dying for a cup of tea and some breakfast, driving off, trying to find...
And spending pretty much the first half of the day looking for it.
We did, yeah, so that wasn't ideal at all. But we did find a regulator that actually just screws straight in, and that's absolutely working fine. So what we do is, once we're parked up and set up, we turn the gas on, and then we can use the gas, and then when we drive away, obviously we turn the gas off again. So that's really handy. You all right there?
Just
standing up.
Yeah.
We've got some containers here.
And also one thing, don't forget to turn the gas off when you drive. That's one thing he did tell us, is always make sure you turn the gas tank off when you're driving.
Of course.
So always remember to unplug and turn off, obviously. Yeah. If you didn't unplug, I don't know.
You've been in trouble. We've got a bit of storage space in here, which we're not utilising yet. Trying to figure out what could actually go in there. And then another one down here, which again is just an awkward space, but it could come in quite handy. We had these fitted, so thanks Linda, the mother-in-law, for making these for us, which are attached by Velcro and just come straight off.
Which is great.
The only problem we've found is that because it's been really hot, the actual Velcro that's stuck there, the stickiness actually melts slightly, so these actually fall down. So we're going to have to think about an alternative to this, but actually this works quite nicely. And
also when we're sleeping,
it hangs down.
This hangs down on your head, so it's probably be a good idea to try and fix it to the window like that, so that at night you don't end up with a curtain tickling your face when you're asleep.
Yeah. Just turn that down for a sec.
But although, Mum, they're great curtains, thank you very much.
Yeah.
We're not complaining.
No, we're not.
Promise.
So we've got an outer awning, which is Outdoor Revolution. That's the make. OutdoorRevolution.com. It's dead simple to set up. It comes in a really small carrier bag, so it's nice and compact. It's just got 2 poles, which are X-framed, and it just slots in straight like that. So it's really easy to set up. The only thing that we had to work out was this bit here. So this should be nice and tight. So you've got to work out how far away to get the van to then attach this, which we haven't quite worked out yet. Obviously, as you
we
can
still
see,
haven't got it right.
It hasn't rained, but as you can imagine, if it does rain, then this would just pull with water. So it's quite important that you get that distance worked out, and then you can just drive up each time you come back from the day.
We have
in the
thought,
right- the right
sort of
place.
a good way to do it is to use the ground sheet as a guideline. So put the actual awning up, then put the ground sheet where you think the car needs to be. So when you come back, you can actually just line yourself up with the ground sheet.
Yeah. So
We haven't done that yet, though.
No, we haven't. So get this set up first, then work out where the van needs to be, then put the ground sheet down in line with the van, and then you can just drive up. Drive up.
No, she's okay. Sorry, she's just wondering.
Just keep an eye on her.
So does Juno, come here. Good girl. Come on. Yeah, sorry.
So the other bit about this is we didn't work out that this little toggle here can bunch it up, so you can adjust it to your van size. We had it flapping around all the way down here, and we were like, that's not right, that can't be right, but it's dead simple. Hello darling. You just bunch it up, and it's got a little toggle there that fixes in place, and we've actually found a couple of places under the van to attach it, and that works perfectly.
I did get that, sorry. Cool.
Also, here, I don't know if you can see that, we've had the van converted to LPG, so it runs on petrol and LPG. There's a little switch just next to the steering wheel, which you can just press and it switches from gas or LPG. So we were thinking LPG would be great, it's environmentally friendly, it's half the price of petrol, but the only issue we found is that the LPG tank is around about 40 litres, so which is about 20 odd pounds, which is cheap as chips, but it doesn't last very long. So we use petrol when we run out of the LPG, and then find the garage which sells LPG and then fill it back up. So it's not really an issue, it just obviously doesn't last that long. We end up filling up the LPG a lot more frequently than the actual petrol itself.
Although we've got smaller cupboards at the back of our van, we've actually got a bigger bed, and we've noticed that VW campervans they've got larger cupboards, their beds are actually smaller. And also with the Mazda Bongo, the bed...
Which we did look at, didn't we? That's originally what we were looking at.
Yeah, originally that's the one we're going to go for, but the bed, when it comes out, it actually goes all the way out in front of the fridge, whereas this one's built in so that it goes obviously up to the fridge, so we can still actually access the fridge without having to put the bed away.
Yeah, which was handy this morning because we had a cup of tea in bed, didn't we?
Yes.
So we got the milk out, and yeah, we could access all that. Yeah, so a couple of little bits there. You're right. Still feeling a bit poorly?
Yes.
Oh, bless you. Yeah, a couple of little bits there that we thought
Might
kind
be
of
a bit.
just topped the highest, didn't it? And I don't know whether this is standard, but I think it is actually because it's been custom made.
Yeah, I think it's the guys in Bristol, JCWSW Limited, the guys that we bought it from. I think it's JCW. I'll have to double check again. They custom make everything they do, or they obviously kit out everything, and they seem to be pretty good at it.
Yeah.
So
they've
highly
thought about it,
recommend them
haven't
actually.
they? Yeah.
And they've been really great with helping us with any problems that we've had as well.
Yeah.
They've been on the other end of the phone, so.
Not your usual car dealership place, is it? So
No.
don't be surprised to find it at the back of a timber yard. And
If you've ever been to the Middle East, you'll know you'll feel right at home when you walk in there. Basically.
like you have. You grew up in the Middle East, didn't you?
Yeah.
Roll in.
Right, so this is the inside of the Toyota Hiace. I'm just going to show you around a couple of bits. So we've got a, I don't know if you can see very well, but we've got two stove top here, and we've also got a little sink which we actually haven't used yet, which actually has a little pump on it. And so in here,
that tap comes up a little bit, doesn't it?
The tap does come up. Sorry, yeah, the tap comes up like that, and then it's got a pump which
cool.
obviously pumps the water up into the sink.
That's going to be really handy.
Yeah, we haven't used it yet, so you've got a waste tank and a water tank. So you can obviously, if we are off grid or doing a bit of wild camping, we can use that to wash our things up instead of using the amenities here.
Yes, that's quite handy. We've got quite a few little cupboards that we don't really know what to do with yet because they're kind of a little bit not sure. So we think maybe this would be quite good for probably towels and stuff like that because obviously it's a little bit slanted. And yeah, so we reckon that would work quite well. There's obviously one underneath the stove, which I think we can put some things in as well, but we're not too sure what to. We haven't really figured it out yet because we haven't had it long enough. I'm sure we will find use for some cupboards. This one here is actually quite big, but there's no shelf in it at the moment, so it just kind of falls down. So Anthony's going to look at putting something in there just so that we can utilise it a little bit better.
Got the electric mains as well there, hooked up.
Yeah, so we can obviously run loads of stuff off, like our obviously phone chargers. And we've got a light which we bought as well, so we've got an extra light here, and then these actually came with it, so there's some switches down the side here. There's one here for the fridge, and there's also one here for the lights. So yeah, this comes equipped with a little mini fridge, which yesterday I think had quite a lot of stuff in it, so I had it on the coldest possible, and I might have frozen some of the food. But so now it's got a little less stuff in it. It's only small, but you can fit what you need to fit in it. It has a little freezer at the top, which is slowly defrosting. Actually, I can tell now. So yeah, so it works. It does its trick. I might actually turn it up just a little bit because I think it might be defrosting slightly, which is probably not very good.
One thing I will say about the electrics is definitely get yourself a multi-plug extension, because that comes in really handy.
So this is obviously the rock and roll bed. This is the lever, so you pull it across and it pulls out nice and flat. It's actually quite comfortable probably if you're not on a slant, but it is actually really comfortable as long as you make sure you get the buckles and everything in. We've actually bought a memory foam mattress, a really cheap one from the range. It was like 28 quid or something, because you can obviously spend a lot of money on them. And that it just makes it just that little bit extra, a little bit more comfortable. So that worked quite well.
Yeah, we're sleeping well actually, aren't we?
Yeah, and then in the morning it's got a pulley like lever thing, which you pull up first. Once you've got it moving, you then push it, and it just locks back into place again. Oh, hello! I think you're going there. So we have a swivel chair, which is officially, I think, Juno's bed, which is easy. Pulls around like that and it locks in, locks out. However, we did find out, not yesterday, in our rush to try and leave and find the connector for the gas canister so that we could have a cup of coffee and what have you. Obviously exhausted, we couldn't get the actual van to start.
It was stuck in park.
It was stuck in park. It wouldn't go for it. Obviously the engine was started, but we couldn't actually get it to go anywhere. And we were like, oh great, it's broken. I rang the garage. They were like, where are you? I was like, we're in Devon. They're like, okay, we'll have to try and figure something out. And then Anthony suddenly went, maybe it's because the chair's facing the wrong way. So we pushed it around the right way, and lo and behold, we actually managed to drive away. So that was good. So that was a learning curve. We weren't aware that would happen, but obviously it's a safety feature.
Yeah, really good.
Which is good.
Those air vents as well.
Yes. So what, these up here?
For the cooling Juno.
Oh yeah. So we've got obviously extra bits for keeping Juno nice and cool. Also all controlled at the front of the van, which is really handy because it has been quite warm, and bless her, she does not like it when it gets hot. And then obviously we've got the pop-up bit.
Yeah.
Bit at the top, which is actually another bed. For us, I mean, obviously if you're not going anywhere, it's really great to store stuff. We were thinking possibly putting our food all up here, and then bedding and stuff goes up there until you need it. And we've also got little windows which make it nice and much lighter.
And these are the planks that pull across, so if you did want to make an extra bed at the top, that's the way you do it. And we've got these zip windows, you can unzip like we have in this one here, and there's one this side as well. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah.
One thing not to forget, if you've got a gas tank in the back, is a carbon monoxide detector, because obviously you're in very close vicinity with the tank, and so you need to make sure that if there's any leaks or anything like that, you are fully aware of it before it's too late.
Very
so
important.
very, very important, and obviously always test it, but I'm not going to push the button because it's horrible.
So here's the control panel at the front. We've got state-of-the-art 1998 stereo, which comes complete with mini disc player and CDs. Doesn't tune into the radio at all, does it?
No, so something we will be upgrading at some point.
Definitely. But again, this is really handy. Again, if you've got a dog in the back whilst you're driving along, here you have the rear fans, which Helen showed you earlier. You can have it on cooler or heat, and yeah, that's just the usual stuff. AC mode, etc, etc. So here we have a Japanese compass. No idea what that's for, can't even focus on it. Don't know what it's for. So Jeff is an automatic with a gear stick lever, and on the end here it has a little button which you push in for overdrive. Now, we had to Google what overdrive meant, but essentially what it means is it's like economy. So when you're cruising down the motorway or cruising over sort of 40 miles an hour, you press the overdrive on and it just selects the highest gear. If you're pottering around town or stop starting, then you turn it off and it keeps it in a low gear. So if you're pulling away, you want to pull away quite quickly, that's really handy as well. So yeah, that's good. I think that's it.